The ascent of the Witch-finder General took place in Essex County, England. Matthew Hopkins was appointed by a court justice to this post. As England's civil war raged on, the common people had to adjust to the policies of those who had power over them. Hopkins found an opportunity in this turmoil by convincing those with authority that he could discover a witch. Educated as a lawyer and a self-study of the book Demonology by King James, he stated that his first encounter with a witch was in the year 1644, when he witnessed a witches' meeting near his residence in Manningtree. A person with authority within a town would notify Hopkins that they needed assistance in determining whether or not someone was a witch. Hopkins would ride from town to town, charging 20 shillings an occurrence. The accused were coerced into a confession with the use of torture. For example, they were bound and placed in a sitting position on a table and kept there without food or water for 24 to 48 hours. If the attempt to get a confession failed, the accused was bound thumbs to toes in a crosswise position and thrown into a body of water. If they tried to swim or float, it was a sign of guilt, so they were hanged. In 1645, Hopkins testified as an informant in the court case of Elizabeth Clark, an old one-legged woman. Stating Clark confessed that the devil had visited her 3 or 4 times a week for about 7 years. Imps appeared to Hopkins in the form of small animals, and Clark called out their names. The accused told Hopkins the imps would suckle the teat of their owner. After approximately 200 hangings in a 2-year period, the vicar of Great Staunton, John Gall, published a pamphlet of sermons protesting the prosecution of every old woman with a wrinkled face, hairy lip, or a scolding tongue. Furthermore, that the signs Hopkins used discovered no other witch but the user of them. A case against Hopkins was brought before the judges at the Norfolk Assize. He was accused of sorcery, and as a response, Hopkins penned the pamphlet titled "The Discovery of Witches," in answer to several queries lately delivered to the judges of assize for the county of Norfolk. In 1647, Hopkins was tested for truthfulness by the binding of his thumbs to his toes in a crosswise position and thrown into a body of water. His attempt to swim proved his guilt, and therefore he was hanged. The Witch-finder General's career lasted just over 2 years. Samuel Butler writes of Hopkins in Hudibras, Part 2, Canto 3, lines 139 through 154. Has not the present Parliament a ledger to the devil sent, fully empowered to treat about, finding revolted witches out? And has not he within a year hanged 70 of 'em in one shire, some only for not being drowned, and some for sitting above ground, whole days and night upon their breeches, and feeling pain were hanged for witches, and some for putting knavish tricks upon green geese and turkey chicks, or pigs that suddenly deceased of griefs unnatural as he guessed, who after proved himself a witch, and made a rod for his own breech. From the deepest pit of hell I call on Matthew Hopkins, come, do tell of why you told lies of what you saw in Essex County about us all. In the year of 1645 left none of us still alive. Was it for greed, or was it for lust, or just for fame and new-found trust? You left us to hang, hearing chants of the witch. None could save us from your grips. May you linger in torment for what you have done, and to your victims of torture a song to be sung.